Ladies and gentlemen, this is TechnoFeud91, and today I'm going to show you how to beat the extreme AI with the Malians on Arena in under 30 minutes. So, I've done a couple of these videos now, and effectively, I want to try different strategies each time we do this with different civs. So you can utilize civ bonuses, have a bit of fun, but also just generally get the gist of what you need to do and kind of early build orders. If you're playing against the extreme AI, the likelihood is you already have a pretty good idea of what a build order is and what you need to do. And an arena build order is also relatively straightforward. And the trick with arena is just getting to Castle Age as fast as possible, because then we can build more town centres, and we can start building powerful units which can break down our opponent's walls, so that we can attack them. There are some instances where you might want to go into Feudal Age on Arena. So you could, for example, do a tower rush, and for Cumans, you can build a siege workshop in Feudal Age, which will allow you to get Rams, and then you can maybe go for like a man-at-arms push. But today we're just going to go for a fast castle, and we're going to go a relatively forward castle, I think, and try and attack early. So I think we'll probably do 1 TC, maybe maximum 2 TC for this one. In terms of the actual build order, you can kind of tell what I'm doing. It's the standard 2 houses with the first 3 villagers, 6 to sheep, 2 to wood, and then we'll send our next one to lure in the boar. So we're going to do it slightly differently because I think on Arabian maps, we tend to try and get to feudal age as fast as possible, right? So what that means is you're going to want more villagers under the food on the TC, on the food under the TC to get up as fast as possible. But for Castle Age, we're trying to set ourselves up in a fast castle so that we've got enough wood to build our 2 buildings in feudal age and have enough food and have enough gold to get to Castle Age as quick as possible. So you can see here, Malians, our buildings cost less wood, villagers drop off more gold, so we should be able to get to Castle Age at a relatively decent time. You can see my build order here is slightly different from what it would be on Arabia. I've still sent a villager to go build 2 houses at the front, but I'm waiting. I've now got 8 on food and 4 on wood, and the reason I do that is because the timing is a little better on the boar collection. So you see I've nearly finished that boar by the time that villager comes out to collect the second one. And then from here, instead of just putting everything on the CC food, I'm going to keep 8 villagers around my boar. And I'm going to send everyone else to berries up until 14 villagers. So, and when we have 14 villagers on food, that is when we are going to start sending more to wood again. And the reason why we keep 8 around the boar is because 8 is the exact amount of villagers that we can fit around a sheep or a goat. So, and we don't want to be taking we don't want to be taking 2 goats at the same time. We just want to be taking 1 at a time, and that's because food decays. Unless you play as Jurchens, the food under the food from animals decays, and you don't want that, right? You want to be as efficient as possible with taking that food to get as much as you can out of it. And as you can see, once we've got those 8 around that goat, that is all that is going to happen. So everything else needs to go to berries, or you could send them to chickens. Honestly, I probably should have sent them to the chickens. I'm still kind of getting used to the chicken format because it used to just be deer, which you would push in, but now there are some unpushable animals out here. But generally, unless you're, say, Portuguese or the Franks, you want to take the animals before you take the berries just because they collect faster. But it shouldn't hurt us too much here. And as you can see, I'm now sending all of my villagers to wood until we reach 7. So by the end of Castle Age, what we want to have 14 on food, 7 on wood, 3 on gold. And that should mean we have more than enough food and gold to click up to Castle Age at a reasonable time, and also be able to build the buildings that will take us there. So we will build a market and a blacksmith. So what I found out here, I'm still scouting around as well, as you can see. What I found out is that me and my opponent have spawned very, very close together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a forward castle because I don't have to walk very far to do it. It's very rare that the extreme AI will build military this early, so I'm going to try and rush them in Castle Age. And how I'm going to do that is with a couple of my favorite units. So this is, I think it was a bit of a cheese strap for a while, which is Gbetos and Rams, right? So Gbeto is the unique unit. It's a ranged infantry unit with a really fast attack, but they are easily killed as well. They're not the strongest of units, kind of like the glass cannon type of units. Similar to like Manaspa, that those types of units that are really great for attack, but not so great for HP. So you can see I've started to build farms. So generally you want to build between 6 and 7 farms in feudal age or on the way up to feudal age so that we have enough food to go up. So, and I should still be able to have the wood to build my buildings. I might be a little bit slow, but we should be fine against the extreme AI. This is a pretty efficient build so far. So once we have decided on our tactic, we're going to drop a castle. I've just seen the scout, so I've taken out the scout there as well. So he's not going to be able to see what I'm doing or what I'm up to. But that's the plan. We're going to go for a castle. We're going to build some Gbeto. We're going to build some Rams. We're going to break in and we're going to kill everything they have. That's the plan at least. So let's see if it works out. So now we are just waiting till we get up to feudal age. What you'll see is I now have the gold I need to get up. So I'm going to use those gold villagers to build my buildings. So I can see I'm going to send 2 to build the market, and I am a little bit delayed on my wood, so I probably shouldn't maybe have built so many farms, but that's okay. I can just use that villager, do the force drop off to help build the market, and then I can start building the blacksmith. So I'm going to be a little bit behind where I want to be, but I think I'm still going to get up to Castle Age at around 15 minutes, which is going to be a decent time. And then now I'm just going to send a couple of extra villagers to wood because we'll probably maybe want to build another town centre. We're at least going to want to build a siege workshop and some more houses to house all of our villagers. But we're also going to want a castle pretty soon as well. So I'm going to start sending some villagers to stone so that we can get a castle up as soon as possible. It's really hard on this. And I don't think it's very possible really to immediately build 3 TCs and build a castle. You kind of have to make the choice. So here I'm probably aiming more for 1 extra TC, so I have 2 total, and a castle, rather than building 3 TCs or even 4 TCs. And it depends on the civ. But you kind of do have to make a decision. If you're going to boom, it's unlikely you're going to be able to afford a castle straight when you get to Castle Age if you want to boom immediately. I think otherwise you'll have to be a little bit patient and make sure that you've got that defensive structure up before you start booming behind it. So you can see as well, I've taken them off gold. That's because I'm not going to need gold for a little bit. I'm focusing mainly now on getting the castle up. And then once I get to Castle Age and once I've built my siege workshop, once I'm ready to start making army and siege, that's when I'm going to start putting more onto gold so that I can afford those units. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate this game, and really, there are always things that we can do to improve efficiency, but really what we are trying to get to here is what resources do I need? If I'm building Rams, I'm going to need wood and gold, so I need to have plenty on wood and plenty on gold. And if I'm building Gbeto, I need food and gold, so I'm going to need plenty on food as well. So I need a very balanced eco distribution, particularly because I'm trying to build a castle as well. So you can see I'm immediately going for my siege workshop. My castle's not quite ready yet, but I'm going for the siege workshop rather than trying to go 2TC, and I'm really going to try and be aggressive here. So I've sent 1 villager out. I'm not really worried about any forward castle from the Extreme AI because they never ever do that, which is kind of silly. I would hope that they would improve the Extreme AI so it does more of those strategies, because that's generally what you find in ranked play, particularly at mid elo. You'll find that the majority of players are going to employ that type of forward castle strategy. So I'm going to make a castle. It's not going to reach their walls, but that's because I'm not trying to get in yet through castle fire. I'm going to get in with rams. So you can also see I've got a single villager building houses at the back, so that I keep my population space, and that I don't get housed. And everything else I'm just distributing between food and wood. And you can see I've got a couple on gold there as well, to keep my eco nice and balanced. So now that I've adopted the 1 TC strategy rather than going for 2 or 3, I am going to be able to build a lot of military, because I'm going to have a lot of resources spare that I'm not spending on producing vills. If you're producing vills from 3 TCs, that's 150 wood that you're going to need. 150 food that you're going to need. If I'm just producing vills out of 1 TC, I only need 50. So I'm saving 100 wood more or less every kind of 25-30 seconds or so. 100 food every 25-30 seconds or so. So this is where we can start building military, but what it will mean is we have to do damage, right? If you are going 1 TC and your opponent's on 2 or 3, you need to do damage to their economy, or else you will likely lose the game, because you are if you lose army, you're really probably going to lose the game. So you need to build that army, make it count, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm still producing vills out of my 1 TC, but I am focused mainly on producing Gbeto and producing rams so that I can go in, attack their economy, and do damage, in the hope that they haven't made any army yet, which I don't think they will. Generally, the Extreme AI doesn't really start making army on arena until mid-late castle age, in my experience. I think it depends on the situation. Again, if you attack early, it's going to start attacking back. But really, he's probably just going to be booming on 3TC. So really, we are on a timer now. We always want to win these games in under 30 minutes, but we're on a timer and we want to start attacking straight away. I've got 3 Gbeto, 1 Ram. It's not a lot of army. I was thinking about going for it there, but I think, okay, let's wait. Let's build up a little bit more before we actually go in for the kill. So now my eco distribution is looking okay. I could probably use a bit more on wood for more rams, because I'm still in the process of building farms. But we've got our university up, we've got our houses, we've got plenty of population space to accommodate, and I'm keeping my economy going and also refreshing my military buildings as well. I think when you're on 1 TC, you want to make things as efficient as possible when it comes to collecting resources. So now we are just trying to keep producing vills, trying to keep our castle producing Gbeto, and try and keep our siege workshop producing rams. You can see they've got a villager out here, started building military buildings, and I've taken out that monk there with the castle. So now I've got 2 rams. I've got the Gbetos coming, and now my economy's starting to catch up. I'm starting to get a decent amount of resources going. You can see I've got 4 villagers in queue, 4 Gbeto in queue, and I've got a ram constantly in queue as well. So we've got to around 22 minutes, and we are at a point where we can maybe start going into attack. I've got 3 rams. That should get me through the gate relatively quickly. And I've got Gbetos in those rams, which is going to give them some more power. And once those Gbetos get in, they are also going to be in a good spot. So you can see there I'm building a nice city builder in the back of my base with the houses. I don't know why I started doing that, but it just felt right to do so. So you can have a bit of fun with the Extreme AI. You don't have to do everything perfectly. I think if you can build houses along the front of your walls just for a bit of extra protection, but generally if you're getting trebbed down, the houses aren't going to do much help anyway, so it doesn't really matter where you build them. And now I've got my 3 rams that are filled with Gbeto. I feel like I have enough to go in and do some damage. But I'm not going to stop producing. I'm still going to keep my Gbeto coming. I'm still going to keep my Rams coming. You can see there the monk is trying to get out. We're not going to let that happen. And the Gbeto will probably take out that monk as well. So you can see quite powerful units. I'm already through. I've got 4 Rams. I've got 5 Rams now coming from behind. So now I've just got my Gbeto, and you can see that the opponent is totally not ready for this. So they haven't got any military to defend against this other than monks and Vils. And my Gbeto are going to really have a good time taking out those Vils. You can see how powerful they are against villagers. They're so quick. They're a great raiding unit, and they're a lot of fun to play with. So now I've taken them off gold, and I'm going to start going for the town centre. And they're going to try and take out those Rams, but I'm going to kill the villagers whenever they try and do that. So now that the Extreme AI's flaws kind of become apparent, right? They don't have anything to stop this. They are just trying to take out those Rams with Vils, but you can see those Rams are completely taking out the town centres. They've got some fortified churches, so just them being the Armenians is kind of unfortunate because it means that they can fire arrows at us. But those Gbeto are still powerful, still killing Vils, and you can see my score lead has skyrocketed now. So I'm just going to pull those Gbeto away, or try to. It's kind of hard to keep track of. I'm trying to balance between killing the Vils, but also not getting shot by the fortified church fire. So we should be able to take that down to make sure that they can't take the gold from those relics. And you can see I've still got more rounds and more Gbeto coming. I'm still producing villagers. You can see on the top left-hand corner, I'm still getting my eco upgrade, still getting my villagers, and I'm still producing. It is the most important thing to keep producing military, to keep producing Vils in this type of situation. Or in any game and situation that you have. So I've taken them off all of these farms, all of this gold. You can see they've got some knights coming, but I don't think that's going to be enough to stop these Gbeto. And we should be in a good spot. I don't know why those knights aren't coming in now. Maybe he's waiting till he has a few more. But really, he should be coming in to try and stop this slaughter that is currently happening in his base. But he's not. So we're just going to keep having fun until he sends them in. And in the meantime, we're just going to we're just going to continue creating Gbeto. So now they've all kind of got to this TC, so we should be able to take that down relatively easily as well. The arrow fire does very little to Rams, and you can see my castle there. It's taken out some of those knights as well. So this is pretty much a formality now. I'm pretty confident we're going to win this game. I've got enough for another castle, and I'm just going to place a flex castle and build it right in the middle of that town centre. I'm going to destroy that mule cart as well. And now it's just a case of destroying the rest of their eco, and they don't have anything to deal with this. And again, this is just a flaw of the Extreme AI. They will just try and boom if you can get into that base, like with this very, very simple strategy, building some Rams, tiny bit of micro there to take out that mangonel, and we're going to beef up those Rams with those Gbeto, kill those villagers, and we should be able to take down this other TC as well. So at this point, I think if this was any other game, if this was against a human player, they would probably resign. But the Extreme AI generally doesn't resign until they've got down to maybe 20 villagers. So we're just going to keep attacking. We're going to take out that mangonel with the Ram and with those Gbeto. And I can see they've got another fortified church there. I don't really want to get into that. I think I've lost a couple of Gbeto now, so I want to make sure that... I want to make sure I don't lose too many. The game's still pretty much over, but I don't want to lose things for the sake of losing them. The Knights have finally come in, and they found a weak point. The Gbeto aren't doing great against the Knights, but the castle's going to go up without a problem. And I'm just going to use those villagers to build another house. But that castle fire and those Gbeto are going to be fine at taking out those knights. I think I have murder holes. I don't think I may not have got it, but it'll be fine either way. They don't have many, and they can't produce any more either. So that knight is going at those Vils, but the arrow fire is going to kill them. And I'm going to start taking his gold. So that's going to be fun as well. Now I've got 2 castles producing Gbeto. What I should be doing here as well is building another siege workshop. I've been producing. As soon as you start producing kind of more than one at a time from your military buildings, you need to really start building more military buildings. And I do have the wood to do it. So, just to make it a little bit more efficient and end the game a little bit quicker. We're still going to end this game at a pretty good time. I think we're still going to be able to do this in under 30 minutes. So Gbeto are really good at taking out Rams as well because they are infantry, even though they're ranged. So they're affected by infantry upgrades. But it just means that, they've got that melee attack from a distance. So the Rams are generally never even going to get close to your castle. Still producing Veils. Again, sending Rams. Our Rams will easily take that one out. And we're just going to now send our rebuilt army to that town centre and start killing the rest of what the opponent has. And it's always fun to watch buildings go down very quickly with 4 packed Rams. So it's quite nice to see that. I think the only thing more satisfying is destroying a town centre with petards. But look how quickly those go down in Castle Age. It's beautiful. I don't even need to go to Imperial Age. Who needs Trebs? Who needs bombard cannons when you've got Rams filled with Gbeto? It's the absolute perfect situation. And then I've just got a Gbeto standing there taking out any other villagers that come through. But the main thing to remember here in terms of, the whole concept of how you beat the extreme AI, it's one, just about being confident, but also and timings and knowing what it's good and what it's bad at. But really, it's that top left-hand corner, right? You can see I'm still producing villagers, I'm still producing military, I'm pinning them in. I've got a castle in the middle of that base. These are all the types of things that I'm doing to make my game easier and to destroy them as quickly as possible. So I hope these are helpful just in giving you tips, but I think the biggest tip I can give, and also just showing you fun strategies of different ways of beating the extreme AI, right? But I think the main things are military production, eco upgrades, keeping your villagers producing from town centres, and you can see that we've absolutely wrecked the base. I don't even know how he's still going. I think he's desperately trying to bring up another town centre, but I think if we kill a couple more vills, this then should be over. Yeah, so he's resigned now. So we've done that in 22 minutes of our time. In-game time, you're looking at 36, but obviously the game ticker goes a little bit quicker than a normal clock. 75 vills, won the game, lost plenty of units, but still had the bigger army, collected more resources despite having less economy for most of the game, and again, didn't even let them get to Imperial Age. And I didn't even need to get to Imperial Age because I had a good strategy, and we both ended up on the same village account. So hope that was helpful, and tune in for more videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe.